This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove, Triton, and returning Resolute member Wilson309. Thanks for joining us again, man. Wilson, how's your week been, man?
It's been good, going good. Been cold as hell, but other than that,
oh my gosh, it's so cold.
It's frigid. I'm ready for summertime.
But it's a great time to like stay indoors and play some video games, though. Let me tell you.
Indeed, for sure. I look for any excuse nowadays.
Let me tell you what I said. What I said was, "Hey."
This is normally the kind of stuff I put in the bloopers, but Hove's just like letting it go tonight.
I let myself go a long time ago.
He's just tired of the Christmas holidays. He's tired of putting up with work, and he's gonna take it out all on us tonight. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah. Can confirm.
The dawning though, Wilson, how are you enjoying that? It's almost over. It's almost not. What's the opposite of the dawning? Like the ending of the dawning? Is there a fancy word for that? I'm not clever enough to think.
The dusking.
The dusking. Yeah, there you go. The dusking is upon us.
What's the opposite of dawn? Dusk. It's been really cool. I mean, like, we could beat a dead horse to death and talk about Eververse, but I really don't want to. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, everyone feels the same way about it. However, Mayhem has been amazing. I've played like at least 200 games of Mayhem. I'm gonna be sad to see it go. I've gotten a few cool things. I saved up a lot of Bright Dust for this event, so I bought not Bright. Yeah, what is it? Bright. Yeah, Bright Dust. Yeah, totally. Whatever. The stuff you can actually earn in game, not the payable stuff.
Bright Dusk.
There you go.
The dusking.
The dusking. Sounds so dirty. But I bought the ship. I was fortunate enough to receive the Warlock chest piece in Bond, and then I bought the helmet recently. So I look pretty cool. I'm feeling good, feeling savvy before I load into a game. Yeah, man, it's really been all about the Mayhem. It's been so much fun. Going in there as a Nightstalker and just shutting down supers and throwing down tethers has been a lot of fun.
Yes. Marcus was just saying in chat just a second ago, he was like, his Lightbreaker. He was like, dude, Nightstalker might be like the most fun you can have in Mayhem. And like, even as a Titan main, I might kind of agree with him. Like, it is so much fun twirling around and going in Viz and shutting everyone down. It's so much fun. I'm not any main in Mayhem. It's a free for all, man. I don't know what I am anymore.
I've been exclusively maining Nightstalker for Mayhem, though. Like, even if I got shit to do on other characters, I'm like, I can't. I got the Gemini Gestures. Dude, those are so good. Those are so much fun, man. If you got someone on your radar, so there's like, the 3 levels of radar, like far away, middle, and close. If they're anywhere in that middle section of the radar that makes like a little pie slice, if you do your dodge, it just takes away their radar. And it's just hilarious to sit there and just watch them. Like, when you could tell when it hits them, because it actually does 1 damage to them. So you can actually get assists and kills that way by just doing that near someone. But it's funny to watch them. You could tell when their radar is affected because they just they're just wandering in a circle. They have no idea what to do.
Dude, I had no idea about the 1 damage thing. So you actually get a kill if somebody else kills them while they're basically unable to see
It's just like a tether, right? Tether does 1 damage as well.
Pretty much, yeah. I got a triple down today just from doing a shade step.
So what you're saying is you're a cheater. You're an Elo booster cheater.
And a Hanzo main.
Also, quickly,
kind of guy. Why am I even here?
I just want to make sure that Mana has started recording his audio.
Yes.
God, we got Mana here with us as well.
Hi, Mana.
I started to sweat, dude. That was. I was about to text one of you guys and be like, just go without me, and then Leo actually
go on.
I'm just like, perfect.
Wow.
Well, we're glad you could make it with us, Mana.
I'm here.
Hove, how's your week been, man?
New Year's is over, so work doesn't suck complete ass anymore. This week and next week are a little, catch up, but other than that, I'll actually be able to like enjoy my life again.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good. Still, most of the time it's been getting all my weekly reset stuff done and then just play Mayhem as far as Destiny goes. I haven't gotten a single Masterworks though in like a week and a half, which kind of sucks. I still have my positive outlook with range, so, not that I've ever mentioned that on here before, but
I don't remember him ever mentioning it.
Well, that's because you're never here.
Damn it, I
but
set myself up for that one.
Other than that, I've still really been enjoying it. Like I've said, it's very small stuff. But I've been having fun with the game again, so just same old stuff. Looking forward to what's going to happen come 2018, which we have to talk about because even though we didn't say it, I titled everything like 2018 expectations for Destiny. So that's what we have to talk about this episode, Claygo, in case you were wondering.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Triton, how's your week been, man? Nice to have you back again.
Yeah, I've had a really good week coming out of the holidays, so I think work as well has been everything kind of relaxes for me as I go into the holidays. Although when we come out of that, ACC conference play started, so it's a pretty big basketball time for me. So I've had some opportunities this past week to be on the local radio, a couple other panels and things like that, talking about how Pitt's not doing great and a couple of prospects that are at least coming through town. So that's been kind of a cool experience. Briefly had a chance to talk to Gabriel Montgomery, who I really respect, someone who works for Florida Blue for like Medicaid and Medicare policy writing. So coming out of the news from that tax reform and that other thing, to have the opportunity to talk about what he feels that would be like in the future and the challenges that presents is always interesting, and just kind of a good touch base there. That kind of bled into being able to have some conversations around Title IX and also like why you can't just give football players and collegiates a bunch of money and like why that necessarily wouldn't work on the surface. So being able to be a part of a panel like that was kind of cool as well. So a lot of interaction for work. This usually also is the time where I kind of take a look at the year coming up and kind of where my kids are at and have a plan for, lessons to kind of impart on them this year and where they're at with their maturity and things like that, and kind of things that we want to do as a parent and as a father. So yeah, New Year is always kind of a really page turner for me in a lot of ways. So definitely exciting. In that though, I was able to get some Battlefront 2 time in, a lot of that this past week. Played a ton of Battlefront 2 just because of the discount they offered, I think is a partial apology for everything that went on in their deployment of some of the things in that game. So I took advantage of that and did play 2 games of Mayhem about an hour ago with Hove and Lego. So I was able to get that time in and visit the tower and see some of those things. But I hadn't put a ton of time in the Dawning, mostly in the beginning, and now here a little bit more at the end. But have enjoyed it when I've been able to do that with friends, and yeah, that's pretty much been the week.
Yeah, you had a lot of time with other games recently with the Division, and now you got Battlefront. There's just a lot of other things going on right now.
Yeah, I kind of do the trophy hunting thing, so I kind of get like obsessed with it. When a game first watch, I really like, I don't want to miss out on this trophy, and I really thought Battlefront people would be like, I'm not going to want to play this game after a while, so I really wanted to get a lot of multiplayer trophies done before people stop.
That gave me a really good idea. We should make up trophies for Triton showing up for the podcast.
We should.
And
we
then,
should make a couple of those.
He'll be here
for sure
every week.
An achievement system?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, achievement system.
Well, that makes sense why Triton would be drawn to a game like Destiny with like the need for achievements whenever Destiny's such a loot-heavy game. Like I've never thought about that before, but yeah, achievement hunters, Destiny's kind of calling to them, huh? Maybe not Destiny 2.
Not Destiny 2 as much, I guess. I gave up on some of the Division trophies. Some of those were like just too frustrating. I gave up on those. I had the platinum, the DLC.
It used to be all about trophy hunting, man.
Yeah.
Back in 360, I literally went down to Small Town Library because they started having video games. I rented out pretty much everything just so I can get easy achievements, raise my gamer score up.
Yep.
And that kind of followed into the PS4 just for a little bit. And that just kind of, I think when Destiny came out, I just kind of got engulfed in it and stopped paying attention to trophies.
Same.
So we have 2 cheaters on the podcast today.
Hey, I got a question for Triton real quick. Since you were talking about, the achievement stuff. And I feel like for me personally, the ornaments that they've put into Destiny 2 has been, maybe you haven't had enough time to like really dig into the system, but for me, that's something that keeps me chasing, like Trials in particular. Like there's nothing really left for me to chase in Trials weapon-wise, but there's ornament stuff for me to chase there. And so that's something that like keeps me wanting to go back because I want that gear. And I'm wondering if there's any completionist sort of values in you that makes you want to get any particular ornaments, Triton, within the game. Or maybe you just haven't had enough time to dig into it yet.
I've like definitely when the Dawning came out, there's a lot of things, and I think we got more kind of with the season change as well than maybe some people anticipated. So there was a lot to digest right away. And the ornaments were something that was appealing, but it's not something that when I look within Destiny that I chase. And we've talked about that on other shows before. Like, that status symbol really isn't what I think they wanted it to be. And then, and I definitely, to Wilson's point, don't want to go down this route, but the best way to look different is not the way that I think people prefer. So
Gotcha.
that it didn't ever really turn into a chase for me. The biggest draw is, maybe if I were to get that doing that with friends, cool. But I think like for me, trophies kind of have that like that status and everyone can see them in those achievements and just kind of the way they're delivered. So I guess it's a different appeal than some in-game thing. But
yeah. Cool. I was just wondering. Yeah, Mana, how's your week been, man?
I
don't remember.
My buddies came up, got a little amount of sleep, copious amounts of alcohol and good food were consumed, and it was a good time. We pretty much just got together, watched movies, went out, did cool things, played a lot of video games, and drank beer and stuffs.
What kind of beer,
dude?
Okay, so I don't know about you guys. One of my buddies, he saw Busch Light and was just like, you know what? I kind of want some Busch Light, and everyone was just like, what? You're a supermarket full of other beers, and you're getting Busch Light? Like, everyone was so offended. It caught everyone off guard. Any of you guys ever just done that? Just like Busch Light?
No,
Light,
I can see
like
it
that?
when you're getting together with like old friends. Like I've definitely like gotten together with college friends. Like, do you guys want to get some Milwaukee's Best? Like, because that's what we drank all through college.
Yeah, man, same.
We used to drink Keystone Light because it was super cheap.
Yeah, that's why we used to have Beast.
$15 a 30 rack, and I think it was like sometime last year. Everyone got together. It's like, let's get some Keystone Ices for the shits and giggles, old times, and we're drinking like, wow, what? Wow, there's a reason why everyone made fun of us. This is bad.
Stone.
Do you guys? Hey guys, have you guys ever had Lion's Head?
Lion's Head? I don't think so.
Oh man, you have to get it in bottles. I don't know if you actually have to, but like you have to. It's pretty cheap, but it's not as awful as some of those other ones. But it has little, like puzzles under the caps.
Oh, I know. I have seen that actually. I have seen that stuff.
So there's like I don't know, 20 different ones that each bottle could have, and they're those little. I forget what kind of puzzles they're called, but it'll show like this picture plus this picture, and it's like a play on words, and you have to figure out the phrase. Do you know what I mean? What are those called?
It's like the alcohol, like the Snapple of alcohol. Like there's something awesome under it.
So like you can figure them out like early in the night. You're like, oh, I know this one, and by the end, you have no idea. Like I'll tell you how long ago it was that we started drinking those. There was a MySpace page that we used to go to that listed them all if you couldn't find them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it play like music and stuff when you visited it?
I don't know, man. I was normally drunk.
That was like those were the best MySpace pages.
If your MySpace page didn't have music, you were doing it wrong.
It's true.
Oh well, another thing over the weekend. So Shiny Sir Evan, for Christmas, we kind of did like a Christmas exchange after Christmas because that's when everyone came up. But he bought me a Mario Party. What was it? Monopoly board, pretty much.
Yes.
It was smaller. It was a little smaller than normal. There's missing like instead of everything but the blues having like 3, everything just had 2. And every character, I think there's like 4 or 5 characters, had like special abilities. And I chose Yoshi. I'll tell you guys a little bit later, but like they had literal DLCs for the game. If you wanted more characters, you would have to order packs that can either be randomized or you have to go on like Amazon to find like actual like characters to buy like separately that are more expensive. And we were just like, what?
That's unreal.
So I think what we call that in the world of Destiny is, oh, they cut content and sold it to us again later. Right? Did I do that right?
It was crazy. It was crazy. Like instead of money, you had little cardboard punch out coins. Like there's single coins and stacks of 5. And every time you pass go, you'd have to battle one of the baby Bowsers, and it leads up to like the final round is Bowser. And so you have to like pretty much roll the dice. You have to roll higher than whatever it tells you on the card to beat the boss, and you get whatever perk it comes with and the card. So it was crazy. But like if you land on a star space, you like activate your super pretty much. And there was like DK, Mario, Peach, Yoshi, I think were the only ones like that came with the board. I was Yoshi, and he was the most underwhelming. He had the most underwhelming super. Pretty much, I get it was free parking was my super. So I only get stuff if they're on the board. But the thing is, whenever you get something bad happens to you, you drop coins right there on the spot. So if someone comes up behind you, he just picks it up. So it's like constantly rotating like currency everywhere. But like Mario's and DK's is like every player gives you 3 coins automatically.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah, and then
it's like 2 pulse grenades.
Yeah. Peaches was, if you own property, you just collect rent from all your properties right there from the bank. And Mario's was something also OP. So everyone had guaranteed coins except for me.
Wow.
Like I only hit the start place twice, and the second time someone in front of me landed on free parking and right before my turn and just took everything. I was just like, thanks. And I couldn't beat a boss either. I rolled lower every single time. Like if you roll low, then it goes to the next player and it just keeps on rotating until the boss is beat.
Okay.
Or you can choose not to, and the boss flees, and no one just gets points and like perks and stuff like that. It was neat. I'm honestly tempted to pay like $60 just to get all the characters just for next time.
DLC done right.
Are there microtransactions?
I need like 200 more punch out like coins and stuff because you only.
I heard it's reskin content. You'll just get a yellow Yoshi.
Yeah.
It's the same super.
It was like Tanuki Mario was like really expensive, more expensive than any other character. And we're like, it's not telling us it's like moves and like specials and like that guy. Why is he specifically this expensive? He has to be OP, you know.
That is so.
Fun. We played a whole bunch of different board games too. A lot of board games. I can go on forever explaining, but we also drinking game. This is the last one. We had a drinking game. It was what's that game where you place something at the top? It kind of goes back and forth wherever it lands. Like something happens.
Plinko.
Like, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's it. It was called Drinko, and it has a shot.
That
at the
was
bottom.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's called Drinko, and you place the little chip at the top, and hits down. Whatever it lands behind, you have to take that shot up. So we just mixed a whole bunch of different random stuff. One was water. One was 99 proof. Something was crazy, and a whole bunch of other things. And it was cool.
Sounds so simple, but like awesome.
It was entertaining because everyone was like just fearing. Is like, oh god, what is this? One guy was just like, can I smell it? He's like, you can't smell it. So he just downed it. He's like, it was water.
Oh, that's great.
Do you know what? Speaking of simple but fun, do you know what I want to do that we should do one day?
I have no idea.
Maybe even stream it. Do you ever play Mad Libs?
I think I have. Yes.
I love Mad Libs.
I'm sure I have.
Played it. I've heard of it.
Basically,
but I've not played it.
So there's like a story that has blanks in it.
Oh yeah.
But then like it'll go through and it'll be like noun, like Lego will give us a noun, man, it'll give us an action, blah blah blah, and you place them in there, and then like I feel like with the ridiculous shit we would say, it would be amazing. It was kind of like the precursor to like
Cards Against
Humanity, like way back in the day.
Absolutely.
Dude, we should make a Destiny version of that and release it like on Twitter somehow. That would be
take
awesome.
a lot
My
of
sister,
work. We have a really hard time getting here.
I was like, no, wait.
Yeah, my sister for Christmas got a Bob's Burgers one that was pretty awesome. So they just have like you can like theme it, to go along with whatever universe you want to talk about.
So can we play Mad Libs?
That'd be cool.
Yes, not right now, but yes.
Not right now, but
no.
Here's
what it is. Episode 76, we're playing Mad Libs. It's my episode. I decided.
That's true. It is your episode.
Guys, he went with it. He said it was my episode. We tricked him.
I think it's always said.
Dongcast 76, Mad Libs edition.
Libs edition. I'm down.
Well, my week has been a lot of Black Mirror binging. I guess the new season of that came out, which has been awesome.
I've been trying to get Wilson to watch one episode, and he won't.
What?
What's it called? Black Mirror?
Dude, I am balls deep in Vikings right now. Like Ragnar Oathbrook, like that dude is awesome, man. I'm ready for some more Vikings. As soon as I get onto a little bit of a content drought with Vikings, I'll be all over that.
I get it, man. I get it. I have like certain things that like I'm in the mode for this right now. I gotta finish this. So like finish the Punisher. I switched to Black Mirror, and it was a good week there. I finished both of those. So
I get to watch people axe fight to the death, have sex, and then like eat mushrooms afterwards. It's a fantastic show. Vikings is amazing.
I don't know if you know this, but the international version of it has way more nudity than the American version. I just want you to know that. I found that out.
Just throwing it out there.
Is it on
Just
Amazon Video?
I don't know how you find it.
Okay.
It was on Reddit or something. It's like comparisons
deep
of
web.
scenes.
Are you sure that's what you found?
We'll
You
talk
sure
later.
that's what
It was literally
you-
comparisons
If you don't want to disclose the website, it's cool. We'll talk.
I've never seen Vikings, but I'm just saying, from what
You should. It's
internet
good, man.
told me.
Fantastic.
So
Uh,
what I think Wilson should do though, we normally go for what, about another hour, right? We go for about another hour, and episode's an hour, and since everybody else showed up, Wilson, just please exit the hangout and go watch an episode of Black Mirror. Your services are no longer required.
Peace. It's been real, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go check
Hey,
this out.
I haven't
he's
I haven't checked
Twitter
that
prime.
episode out either. I don't even know what it is. So
Do
You don't know
like,
what Black Mirror is? Really?
I don't know what it is.
Do you like
no.
really
dude.
like disturbing things?
I mean,
So,
you
okay,
did
here-
just go on a Reddit site to find the differences of nudity and
It's like a Twilight
it was
Zone.
Reddit. Reddit led me places.
It's like a Twilight Zone for like technology, basically. But in like all based on technology and what the future is going to look like, what this technology could do to us that we have, whether it's social media or some form of computer science, and just kind of.
It's a lot of commentary on like the state of the world today. It's all
Yes.
really like
Oh, really?
really creepy, like terrible things that happen, but it's all like there's one episode where I'm not going to go into it, but everybody is based they're rated on like a social media site, like you are like as a person. So like every time you interact with someone, you pop up and like that person was a dick to you, downvote them. And like people get like discounts on insurance and shit like that based on their rating. So like this girl tries to like build up her rating and ends up going fucking nuts, and it's insane. But like, is that really that far from like the way things work these days?
I was
Like,
kind of going to say like
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
like
what all the
insurance is
episodes
gonna-
are like.
It's
They're-
amazing.
Yeah.
Trying to do
what is
fucked
it
up
on?
shit to
Where
get
can I
likes.
watch this?
Netflix.
Yeah. Start at the
Is it
beginning.
Netflix?
I've heard this season was a
Well-
little down, but
How long?
No, dude, this season was one of my favorites. And the reason why is because a lot of the episodes towards the beginning are all super depressing and super like none of them have like a good ending, And I feel like the last two seasons have been more like you never know what you're going to get. It could be like a devastating ending or it could be kind of like happier. And so that makes it more like why I liked the Twilight Zone back in the day is because like it's more like not way back in the day, but watching those episodes, you just never know what you're going to get. And that's what kind of the newer season, the very first episode of Black Mirror, I don't even know if I would start with that one. It's so freaking crazy and intense and
Really?
very graphic. Yeah.
yeah, that one, my
I'll put it
favorite
on my
one
list.
is where the dude's wife cheats on him with the eye implant things where he
Oh,
records everything.
Dude, it's insane. Yeah.
Watch it. Everybody watch it. It's so good.
My buddy from over the weekend actually introduced me to The Magicians. I don't know if you guys ever watched that.
I heard that
Yeah.
was good.
What is
Pretty
that on?
surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like
There's something about it.
I don't know, like a college American version of Hogwarts, like Harry Potter and all that, pretty much.
Hmm.
So
What is that on? Is that on Netflix?
Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's season 3. It was kind of crazy too because we went to go and watch Star Wars over the weekend because
Oh, nice.
no one else have seen it. We actually saw a season 3 trailer like on the big screen. We're like,
Ah.
there we go. Okay, now I should watch it, the rest of it. So I've been kind of going through that kind of a couple episodes a day, trying to catch up. But
Well,
Black Mirror, that's
Yeah. Check it out, man. It's good. And other than Black Mirror, been playing lots of Mayhem too, and PUBG too. But Mayhem has been pretty awesome. I've been culling over some footage I've had over the last 2 weeks, just looking at the different plays that I had. Because there are some moments in Mayhem, and this is why I want to ask you guys, getting out of just how our weeks have been. But Mayhem, to me, looking back on all of the games that I'd have, the best moments and the most fun moments were just like, there were times where people just kept running out and it was like I was playing sixes again. It was like a never ending, like super on my right, super on my left. And then we got to take care of that person. And then on my right, there was, in particular, I'm thinking there were some games with, I think it was Fate and Pope Bear, and maybe Wilson was there. I can't. Yeah, were you there, Wilson?
Yeah,
And it was just like we were holding down one corridor, and people were coming from the right and from the left, and then from the right and then from the left, and it was just like full on 3 to 5 minutes of just nonstop action. And Destiny 2, like the normal Crucible, doesn't feel that way, and that's fine to have different game types. I'm not complaining about one mode over the other. I'm just saying I'm gonna miss Mayhem when it's gone, because those moments of nonstop action, like where you constantly have power ammo, constantly have a super, a grenade, a barrier, a warlock rift, there's a dodge from your hunter. There's always something going on. Like, how do you guys feel about Mayhem leaving with the Dawning? Because for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was so much fun. Like I want to have that moment again. Yeah.
I don't know if they want to like bring it around for a week, like once a month or something afterwards, or like, I mean, just anything, I'd like for it to stay around all the time, because that's probably all that I'd play. But like, it's opened up this newfound love for flashbang grenades. You were talking about clips. I was flipping through them the other night, and I have this hilarious clip on that same night with all of us. This Goldie popped this golden gun that threw a flashbang around the corner, and it blinded him. And all you hear is just 6 pop, 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 pop shots, and they like went around me in a silhouette. I was right in front of this dude. We'll let him pop off all 6 shots and just punched him in the face.
You said that was with me, right?
Like, yeah, that was with you.
I remember that. I remember hearing the shots from across the map.
Yeah,
I was like, what's happening?
It was totally like the old cartoon, like he shot in a silhouette around me and like none of them hit me. And it's just stuff like that. It's just so much. I mean, I know that can happen in regular Crucible, but it was just so much fun, man. Like,
that guy is still salty to this day. He's just like, how did I just do that?
Why did I pop my super?
Yes. I had that one clip that I shared in Hove's Discord of just like double tethering people, and when you kill someone with a sword, like it shares that damage between the tether, and you kill like 3 people with one sword swipe. Like that is just unreal, man. It's so much fun.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be sad about it. Like I feel like I've mentioned it before that I feel like with the dusking of the Dawning, that there's going to be like something that takes its place, like whether it's Iron Banner or the new faction rally. We just had that patch come out, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a second, that so those are coming back. But I'm expecting one of those to drop next week, either that or we've seen hints of Rumble in the code or in the text they've discovered. And so if that comes, I feel like there's got to be something to like new. Or elimination, potentially. That would be interesting too. But yeah, I'm sad about Mayhem leaving for sure. I feel like they've got to do something to spice it up if Mayhem's leaving.
I definitely think that it's going to come back at some point, not just for the Dawning. I mean, it has been such a hit.
Yeah. That
everybody's enjoying it. And I know there's a lot of times where we either say, oh, how hard would it be to, or we don't know if this would be hard. This is something that obviously isn't hard. It's done. It's there. Just make it available. Do you know what I mean? Just bring it back. Like, if they don't bring it back as a monthly rotation or weekly or something, that's a huge missed opportunity. I mean, that would just be stupid. I hate to be...
It's so much fun.
Yeah, there's lots of shades of gray, but that would be black and white, just bad.
And they have to know the amount, like the response that people have given to, like, because everybody, I'm sure there's some people that aren't having fun or it's not their cup of tea, but like most of the people I play with, man, like we get on and we're like, you want to play some Mayhem? Or like someone's like, hey, I got to go after this game. And we're like, oh, come on, one more game. And like, when was the last time you heard us say one more game of Destiny PvP? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and it's like that. It's like you want to stay up late playing it, and the rewards are fantastic. You're popping all those boons, and it's just making it rain. Rewards. Yeah.
We had Fate on last week who was talking about, he was jumping on Mayhem like every night, and I'd have messages from him like, hey, we gonna play tonight? Like, because he was just eating it up, and I feel like whenever I played with him and did jump on, it was like, yeah, I don't want to stop. Like, this is a ridiculous amount of fun. It is that feeling of like, I don't want to stop playing this game, which is great to have in D2. Because I feel like right now, I still like playing Trials a lot for sure, because that used to be my D1 go-to. But it is kind of like it just takes so long to go between those games that I only want to put in like one card, and then I'm like, I would rather be playing Mayhem. Like, it just moves so fast. Everything moves so fast. The game type and getting to the next game. and all the rewards and just everything. Everything is just so much more.
Yeah, I mean,
I find myself doing it not just for the milestones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants it to be around. Do we think, though, that's something that maybe they'll overthink a little bit? I mean, they've been toe in the water about some things before, too. And I think they've not, I won't say been guilty of, but you kind of think like, oh, if we give this to them all the time, this is just the next thing they'll burn out with, as opposed to like, just because something's obvious doesn't make it not true. And the obvious truth seems to be from the community, we love this mode, so please keep it. But I mean, I think if you make the argument, and I think, we're nodding a little bit, like, do they overthink maybe and say like, oh, well, maybe this can only be an every 3-month thing because they'll burn out on this too. Like, host suggestion is probably a really good one. Once a month would I think be more than sufficient for the week. But I think the hope is hopefully they really do take that commentary seriously. And as we go into 2018 and talk about what our expectations are, hopefully it's like listening more to maybe the letter of what is said.
I hope that isn't their thought, with the burnout thing, because I don't know, that just seems really stupid to me. Like, if we're gonna burn out on something, that means we played it. Like, the issue right now is nobody wanting to play. So even if we're gonna burn out on something, we're still gonna play it until we burn out.
I don't think anyone would argue the issue. I'm just saying, I think, can you make the argument that they would have that go through their minds as opposed to implementing it?
It's
Well,
true.
I'm saying, if that's what's going through their minds, they're dumb. Sorry.
I don't know. I like the middle ground. I think it is something to think about, burnout, and I like the variety of, okay, Iron Banner, okay, Faction Rally, okay, Mayhem, just the more stuff we have rotating, the better, in my opinion. I don't know.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys, we talked about it a little bit before the show, like, why didn't you come back and play the Dawning a little bit more, and just kind of as we're gathering? And part of it is I'm getting that variance of games elsewhere. So, I mean, now it's kind of weird, like Mayhem is that variance within the game, but to be able to go play the Division and to be able to play Battlefront and have like a different type of PvP environment, I'm kind of getting that elsewhere, whereas in Destiny 1, that was kind of built into the game. So I guess, granted, I could have played a lot more Mayhem, but for me, having those rotations, having different options and different choices is, even between like, the modes that are offered, it's still 4s. Like, like I mentioned, it felt like 6s, having those different, things and just different feels was important. So.
Yeah.
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 What do you feel like they could do do y'all feel, because I feel like PvP is kind of held up. Like, I keep wanting to play PvP, like, because Mayhem's there. But, snowballs and strikes, like, do you feel that's something, like, that has kept you going for PvE? Like, has PvE kind of held up its side of the Dawning? I'll kind of give my own, like, thing real quick. So I did those, I think I mentioned last week, I did the Dawning, like, gift things every day, which was a real grind to like go and find those materials, but it isn't that bad if you did it every day and got them over with. Because now that I have them completely done, all I do is just log in, go to the tower, and get a free sparrow like every single day from every character, which is crazy amount of shaders and ships. And like I already had, like I just went in today to get, and just on one character alone, I had 5 Dawning sparrows that were specifically Dawning, and they were all different. And I was like, wow, that they accumulate, just so fast. And there's so many of them. And like, that was good for PvE, but I'm kind of done with it now. And I'm just reaping the benefit of it. I don't play PvE right now at all, which is fine for me. I'm not really a PvE guy, but do you think PvE players are happy right now with, I guess, the Dawning? Cause I'm significantly happy with PvP.
The snowballs, I'm very simple. I'm a simple person. The snowballs are fun, and we've talked about the merits of them and everything in the past. But that's obviously not something that's going to stick around, no matter how fun it is, because snow isn't always around. But I like I said, from being simple, the thing that's got me playing PvE and PvP is just the simple fact that there are masterworks that I still need to get. Like, it was such, and this is something I brought up in the last couple weeks. As small of a fix as it was, it's something they said they were going to build on. It's it's a temporary thing. They're going to keep going with that. They have a lot more changes they want to make. For as small and as simple as that was, just grinding for those and trying to get those. Like, I'm doing every activity I can now, because every engram I get decrypted could be a masterwork. Every package I pick up, every all that stuff has the chance to be masterworks, and I don't have nearly. Not only do I have nowhere near all of them, I don't even have all of the ones I want. So that's something that, that's the reason for me that such a small change has made such a big difference for me. So if they can keep building on that, I'm really happy. But for right now,
Cool. Okay.
it'll keep me playing for at least a few more weeks, if nothing else.
Yeah.
That's pretty much why I'm doing the PvE content. It was trying to scoop a pair of those OP aspects on PC and console, and
Did you get them?
good to go. Got them on
because
both.
I have 4.
Dang, nice.
Yeah, they're really good. So I got them on both platforms. I'm happy about that. So now it's just back to Masterwork and that Midnight Coup hand cannon that drops only from Callus. I want it so bad.
Dang.
I want it so bad. So like Monday I did a raid in a raid layer, and I've been doing some raids like every week. I've been fortunate, like Tefty's been pulling me in and doing some fun raids and Midnight Coup shaming those who don't have one yet.
Yeah.
Wilson,
For me,
will you raid with me? I need to do the raid.
Dude, I'd love to on any platform. Let's do it. Let's do one on console.
Let's do it on Xbox.
Called us out, huh?
I don't have an Xbox.
Just straight up called us out.
That's awesome.
I still have yet to do anything in Destiny since laser tag. I think I got to the point where I don't know. I just I kind of want to, but there's not enough to bring me back right now.
Have you tried Mayhem?
Yeah, you're missing.
No,
Mayhem. You got
I haven't.
a couple more days.
Dude,
When does it actually end?
It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
You have to this week. Like, go in, play one game, play as a Nightstalker, and if you don't have fun, then I get it. But like, at least try one game.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
so good.
I'm not saying Mayhem is off-putting for me, but it's just I don't know. I don't think there's enough to just draw me back. Mayhem was kind of in D1. Mayhem was, it was jump in maybe a little bit here and there, and then just stop playing it, and then go back to the normal thing.
Yeah,
here's the normal thing for me is not there in PvP, So,
but I think what you're looking for is those opportunities where you come around a corner and you don't see 4 guardians holding dicks with a meet a multi-tool in the other hand. You're actually seeing people going off on their own.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
They have all these abilities and stuff. So it literally becomes there's so many more 1v1 engagements and things, and because you have all these abilities, if there are multiple people there, you're well more equipped to handle yourself. So power ammo is running rampant. If you kill a guy with power ammo, he drops it. So there's all these it's filling a lot of these power fantasy gaps, in my opinion, for the Crucible, where it's when you came around a corner, if I queued up in a game of Trials and I saw the Manigator coming around the corner, there's a good chance that all 3 of us are fucked. You know what I mean? Back in the day, there's a really good chance. You know what I mean? Nowadays, Manigator comes around the corner and sees 3 guys, all standing there with me to multi-tools. It's a different story. But in Mayhem, I feel like there's just a little bit more chance for you to be more of a superhero.
Yeah, it's very ironic that in Mayhem, even though, yes, there have been countless times where, maybe I throw my super at one way and then I turn a corner and I start to shoot a guy and he Titan slashes me. That happens a lot. Don't get me wrong. It is Mayhem. But I would venture to say that in the course of a day of playing regular PvP versus Mayhem, I've probably had more 1v1 gunfights in Mayhem than I have in regular PvP in Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure I have.
I mean, I totally agree with what Wilson is saying, and with the thing that makes I liked Mayhem and D1 no doubt, but I still liked Trials and stuff more. In D2, Mayhem is so fun because you have number one, a challenge. There's always people with supers running around. And so every second you're beating, if you're playing smart, you're beating other people who are in their supers, which makes you feel awesome. Because in normal D2 gameplay, you're it's normally just gunplay, and you're not if you have a power weapon and you defeat somebody else, just a normal person, you're oh, well, they didn't have any power ammo. They didn't have their super up. I just killed them because I had more good stuff, But in D2 Mayhem, it's yeah, I had power ammo, but there were 3 supers flying around and I still killed all of them. So take that, it's freaking awesome. For real. I get so pumped up whenever I'm watching it over again because I start doing stuff. I'll pop my super even though I have power ammo, which I wouldn't do in normal D2 gameplay because that wouldn't be smart. Like I want to like use my power ammo first and before in case I die. But because there's power ammo everywhere, I'm like, okay, I'll pop hammers, kill those 3 guys. Oh, I barely damaged that guy, but I still have my power ammo left. Whip out a sniper rifle, quick scope, and it's like, yes, that is it. I love that so much that you're just doing stuff that you wouldn't do in a normal D2 game because, like Wilson said, power is everywhere and people are running around on their own, which feels so good. So it's really refreshing, and that's another reason I'm going to miss it when it's gone, because even if they add other game modes and stuff like that, I'd love to see Mayhem in a rotation because there's nothing like just that people not hugging each other the entire time.
Hugging's probably a better term to use.
Three of us just went on this big long thing about how much fun it is, and I'm pretty sure Mana sat there with his arms crossed, and after we were all done, he went,
Maybe I'll finally try before.
It is difficult. It is difficult to jump back in, like when you haven't been playing that much. But the first night I played with, I'm pretty sure, like extensively, or when I really jumped into Mayhem with another group of people, was that night with Wilson, Fate, and Pope Bear, and I got done with my like milestone in like just a few games, and I'm pretty sure I played like 10 more games because I couldn't stop playing because it was so different. Now I do want to bring up something though about it, and Hove's gonna like get mad at me for this because we were talking about it before the cast. But the Nova Bomb glitch is really throwing me off. Like, I know it's not that big of a deal, like, and we win normally when it happens. I'm not saying I've ever even lost a game when people are doing it, because you know where they are. They're just throwing it at corridors. Just don't run in the door where they're throwing it. They're constantly throwing it at the same door. It's just annoying. Like, I just want to play the game. Why is it annoying?
I'll tell you why.
Yes,
there's a psychological effect when there's somebody on the map doing something that they're not supposed to be doing and getting away with it. There's a psychological effect that happens to a player that says, I'm capable of going over there and taking them out. So you go over there and you walk down the same corridor 3 times and get Slova bombed in the face. Then you try a different approach and maybe take another Slova bomb to the face. And then you have to sit there and say, all right, well, the rest of that map is just not accessible until either somebody else gets him or he tries to move somewhere else because we're just not going over there. So it stops you from playing your style of game. Plus, there's somebody being a little asshole getting away with something that they shouldn't be getting away with. I'm not saying you should ban them. I'm just saying wish it would have been fixed. But, like, I get it. It's Mayhem. It's fun. It's whatever. If you want to stand in the same spot and mash a couple buttons, that's fine. I'm just going to go somewhere else on the map and do my thing. And
I don't know. It's Mayhem. So I wait about 4 seconds on my way over there, and then I just kill him with my super, and then I don't worry about it anymore.
But you can't do that if they're literally like, okay, so the map, I can't remember any of the names of any of the maps right now. I'm blanking.
Distant Shore.
Okay, Distant Shore. Like if they are in the caves in there and there's 2 of them that are doing the Nova Bomb glitch and they're literally throwing it at the doorway over and over again, you can't get through that doorway. Even if you have a super and you make it in the doorway, like say I had hammers and I throw hammer at the Nova thing, it blows up and kills me anyway.
Well,
it's a shield. It's like a Symmetra. It's like the Symmetra shield that she throws out and keeps going because it takes damage. And so even worse, if there's one on the steps looking at the cave and there's a second one looking over at C, all they do is just throw bombs. And if you go anywhere to the right of B, anywhere in the tunnel, over there by C, that thing's going to do like an Australian boomerang right around the corner and blow up and then chase everyone around. Like sometimes it's annoying as shit. Sometimes it's really easy to counter. Sometimes you encounter a really, really frisky warlock that really knows how to lock down a lane with those. And I mean, when they're like 5 feet apart, it's like, man, I got something that I can pump an entire magazine into just to kill 1 Nova, only to have 3 more coming at me. You know?
It breaks the game not in terms of who's gonna win. It breaks it in terms of flow of combat, and that's what bugs me. Is like Mayhem is so fast. Like I was talking about earlier, those plays, and that rhythm. And whenever 2 people are like completely covering 2 lanes, then there's only this 3rd lane accessible, and you have to sit there and wait for your teammate on the other side to get through and kill them, which is fine. It's easy to kill them once you get through the other lane. It just slows it down to where you have to, like Wilson said, there's parts of the map that are just inaccessible. And you could say yes, like that's just a part of the game, but it's not obviously not the way supers are supposed to work, and that's what's frustrating. It's just an annoyance, and I don't know. I'm surprised that I didn't see it in the patch notes as a fix in this last, the patch notes getting ready for the faction rally stuff. Just I would have liked to play the Dawning without that. It would have been really nice. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's pretty.
My suggestion would be to just get good.
I'm working on that. All right, it's New Year's resolution. All right? It's 2018.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Just get good, and you'll be fine.
It's another reason for us to see the Dawning though again. If they do fix it and then we get it again, it would feel fresh, and not as annoying whenever we have games like that.
Nah.
So
I'm going to finally play it and only use the glitch.
There you go. Hey man, if it gets you back playing and have fun, then I'm okay with it. You know what? Then I'm okay with it.
I'm gonna perfect the art of finding the one place where it's the most annoying and where I can utilize it the most.
Well, that's the question for me. Is like, do you guys think that it's actually fun? Like, I haven't done it myself yet, but it just doesn't look fun to just literally just throw a ball in the same spot over and over again.
Depends how many people you kill.
That's the other thing that makes me like okay with it, because hey, you're literally just standing there beating your head against the wall over and over again. Fuck you. Like, I'm gonna run around and have fun. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's true.
It depends how many people you're killing. If they're getting a lot of kills with it, I could see it being a lot of fun.
But nobody gets a lot of kills with it. I've yet to play a team. Like, when Lego brought this up a little bit ago, when Mayhem and Triton were playing, Lego started mentioning it, and I looked, and it was 29-9, us. And then it was like 80-30. And we ended up beating them 125 to like 61. Like,
well, it doesn't count as a super gives you 3 points on the scoreboard. If you do the glitch with the Nova, it just counts as a normal kill because you're technically not using your super.
But still,
it doesn't take your super. Well, that's part of the reason why that guy can get 3 kills with it, but he's not going to get 9 points. He's only going to get 3.
But say that he's getting, say that the kills are split completely evenly. That means he had 15-ish. If they had 60 points, add 2 more for each of those, 30 more. We still beat them 125 to 90 something.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, at least at that point, like, at least if there is any silver lining to it, is that it counts as 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on
the deduction.
So there's another reason that they're stupid, and I don't care because I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna kill them, and I'm gonna Nova Bomb everyone and fusion everyone, and.
Yeah, in a way, I'm just giving into trolls by, by getting upset about it. But I genuinely think I hope to see. I just wanted to voice. I hope it's fixed. I'm a little more annoyed by it than I think some people are.
Honestly, I think I'd be the same as you, Lego. Like, seeing this little jackass in the corner, doing something like that. I'm like, I need to get to him. I need to destroy him. To stop this. I need to continue destroying him. Only him.
Yep.
Just
the one positive.
I'll
just
probably go
wait
make
the
a
4 seconds till you have a super, and then go kill him.
Yeah, but dude, the audio cue of just
that's the only thing I said to Lego. I said the only thing about this that actually annoys me is hearing that sound the entire time.
Yeah, man. That's another psychological effect. It's like just hearing that over and over. It's like somebody playing loud and annoying music outside your door all day. You know he's over there, and you can hear the loud, annoying bullshit that he's casting.
It's just booming the bass, having a party.
To Wilson's point about why people don't like it, because someone's kind of like breaking the game or doing something they're supposed to. I mean, that's probably where the kids are having fun. So for us, just doing that, standing in one spot over and over again, that's just not something we do. But there are the people who are like, look, I'm doing all these things I shouldn't be doing, and I'm just going to do them all in this one room, and hopefully people run in here. And if this is how, to Ho's point, I get 10 kills over the course of however many minutes, and so be it.
One thing that is awesome about it and a really great positive for me is having Power M all the time, to where I can consistently have clips of me shooting people out of their Nova Bombs, which looks awesome every time. And the opportunity is always present. So that's a plus.
No doubt. Yeah, it's cool. You get to use power weapons that maybe you didn't always use before because it's so plentiful and stuff like that. And I love just picking up a sniper rifle again, and you miss a couple shots, you get killed. It's Mayhem. It's whatever. It'll be up again in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been sniping more in Mayhem too.
Sniping is fun. Yes.
Those hits every pleasure zone.
Sniping, sword, shotgun blinking. It's fun.
Bad.
Bringing back all the good stuff.
What is this, D1?
Bringing back the pure chill.
You guys are making me want to play it now because I'm just
You
interested.
said that the last 2 weeks.
Let's do it, man.
And then the next day comes on, I'm just like, I'm gonna play something else. No, I've been playing so many different games. Like right now, I'm going through Wolfenstein 2, and it's honestly a really good campaign.
It's
Yeah, I
really
wanna
good.
play it.
And I jump back into the Division. I'm still grinding that, or I jump back into Fortnite because the addiction's still there. And I kind of want to go back to Battlefront. Like, who was it? Triton. Triton was just
Triton,
saying Battlefront. I was just like, oh crap, that's right. They actually came out with more content with that.
Mm-hmm.
See,
And for free.
A lot of stuff.
I think it actually works well right now. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't need to make a lot of these fixes and provide more incentive and all that stuff. All the things we've talked about for months. But to your point, man, like you were saying, like you say you're going to play it, and then when the time comes, you're like, oh, but there's this that I really want to play. It absolutely took me a while to actually get to that point where I was like, okay, here I'm going to play. You know, because I kept doing that. Like, all right, you know what? I should try this out tomorrow. And then tomorrow would come and I'd see someone playing PUBG or whatever, and I'd go play PUBG. But then once I finally did just take that leap and start playing, I've been having a lot of fun. And the thing is right now, with the fact that there isn't, you know, even now, like I said, the thing that keeps me coming back is Masterworks. It's still just one thing.
Yeah.
But because the game is so much, you know, less grindy and it's not like you feel the need every week to sit down and play it for hours upon hours to get everything done and barely get it done. It actually works right now with what a good last 6 months to a year we've had in gaming because there's so many games out. So like right now I'm really enjoying it and I can jump on, play for that hour, 2 hours every day, every other day, and then go play something else. Do you know what I mean? It's actually fit in very well right now because I do want to play all these other games. And by all these other games, I mean PUBG. But I did download and I want to play Doki Doki Literature Club because I hear it's a total mindfuck.
I've also downloaded that. Yeah.
Have you played it yet?
Oh, man.
No, I haven't tried it out yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I really
I
want to
heard.
try it.
I don't know if it's part of the game. Some people were saying it's part of the game, but I think Hovey was streaming it last night,
Yeah.
and the game crashed and it deleted all save data.
Oh.
But people are saying that's actually part of the game at a certain point.
It's part of the game.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
It
my
just does
God.
that to you.
Yeah.
The real mindfuck, you really got to commit. It's not till the very end. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow.
Apparently, there's multiple warnings if it like
If you're
triggers
depressed
certain.
and-
It actually triggers certain things in you if you're really sensitive to that sort of stuff. I'm just like,
Oh.
what game is it? And I was on Steam looking at the trailer and all, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is a psychological thriller? Wait,
Yeah.
what? I'm looking at the right game. I messaged someone in my Discord. I was like, is this it? Like, this is what it's called?
Apparently, yeah. There's a part that the game crashes, deletes all your like save data, and then you have to like replay. I think from the beginning, but like one of the characters, it's like they don't exist.
Well, I hope
From
you're
the very
not
beginning.
spoiling too much, Hove.
I don't know. That was in like the description of it. I don't even know the character's name, what they did, any of that. So I wouldn't call that a spoiler. But yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
meant to happen. It didn't actually crash.
So like triggers, if you're the kind of person who, when that happens, you just instinctively like throw a controller to like
Instinctively
you might
flip
not
my
want to play
entire
this
stream
game.
setup.
Might not want to play
Screw
this game.
I'm never playing the game again.
Oh man.
It's almost
I
as
wonder
if
how
it was a
many
huge
people
waste of
actually-
time.
I wonder how many people actually just gave up there because they didn't know it was like,
Yeah,
it was just like, well, there goes my save data piece, you know?
Yeah.
peacing out.
But
I like that. I like the psychological stuff.
Anyway.
But Hove, I'm with you on the whole like, you know, it's a good like it's not, you know how at the beginning like Bungie made a lot, or when they started talking about the state of the game, when they first started talking about it, they started talking about the different players that they are catering to, whether it's the tourist or the person who wants to make it their hobby. You know, at first, like as somebody who it was like a hobby game for me, I was kind of upset about the changes that they were. And right now, and I still want to see those changes. Don't get mixed up
Right.
anything I'm saying right now. But for right now, like they've kind of turned me into more of the tourist gamer, and I'm kind of okay with it now. Like because it is really fun when I come back and I play for a little bit, and I'm also really enjoying playing other stuff. And yes, I want to see those changes made. You know, I'm not saying I don't, and I'm excited for where Destiny is going in 2018. But I'm also, it's weird how the way the Dawning is played out, and it's turned into like I was doing some things daily. And I just wasn't playing as much as I was before. But I'm having fun in the amount of time that I do spend in it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's an interesting.
And
little
I think it
twist.
kind of bodes well for the future, at least, from a gamer standpoint, because if you look at, right now, we're not worried, like we were just saying, we're not worried about needing to sit down and grind because you can get most of this stuff done in less amount of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, even if they only add stuff back to the point of where, say, D1 was,
Yeah.
because every content drop with D1 followed by a content drought because we burned through everything because we played all that. So now if we get more in the mindset of just playing like we are now, an hour or two a day, maybe every other day, playing other games, and they have that amount of stuff that we burn through in D1, it's going to be like much closer to the perfect amount of grinding and things you need to get done in between content drops. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like if they go back to the same amount of content and things you need to pick up as they did in D1, and I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying it should be exactly the same. And we're conditioned to not be addicted and play constantly every waking hour. It's really going to kind of stretch out that content and make it more fun over the time instead of I need to sit down and do all this. Did I get all three exotic chests this week? Did I do all of these? Did I do all of these? Well, no, I only did 2, but whatever. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm curious how it'll play out for sure. Like, and I do see what you're saying, and I, could see that being a positive thing, but I could also see a lot of people getting upset about it.
Oh,
too.
there's definitely gonna be people upset, and I'm not saying it's the ideal solution. I'm just saying as far as what has happened, what we should expect, and how to deal with it, type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about what we expect. You brought it up at the beginning for 2018. What are we expecting out of Destiny? So, did you have a particular question in mind for that? Did I phrase it correctly?
Nope, no particular question.
Destiny 1 remastered PC.
Oh my god!
I would actually be really upset if they did that.
I'm kidding. I mean, I wouldn't be, but
You say remastered D1 on PC?
yeah.
If they did that now,
I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah, like you need to fix some other
spend
things.
resources on that.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. But eventually it'd be pretty dope.
Maybe some people will actually be really happy with that. I don't know.
I'd be happy to have it, but not happy that it was worked on. Does that make sense?
If it was a completely different studio,
Yeah.
if it was a completely different studio, but it was like actually done right and it wasn't taking resources away from Bungie, that'd be cool. But we're supposed to be talking about like actual expectations. That was just a joke.
Yeah, because we definitely stay right on the rails on this podcast.
Yeah, totally.
No, I mean I didn't have anything in particular. It was just kind of a like, hey, we're back. We're gonna have a TWAB next week. What do you guys think they're gonna talk about in there? What do you want to see? It was just kind of a general. It's a new year.
Ranked PvP.
Yeah,
They said they were going to be addressing that pretty soon.
Early this year, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe there's something with that in there. I mean, anything to do with more reasons to go into PvP and like maybe not even like
on ranked and all that. Then they say that they wanted to work on that. And what was another thing that custom games? Maybe some updates on that too. That'd be nice.
I feel like ranked and private/customs are kind of a 2-for-1 package, right?
I would agree. I would assume that they would
too.
come in the same box, with patch, whatever.
Because ranked might introduce more competitive play, I guess you should say, and maybe competitive. If they're reworking the competitive, it would be nice to add privates so teams can actually, scrimmage against each other properly. So it makes sort of sense.
The only thing that makes me think that they won't come together is that the way that they release like the Masterwork stuff and all the other like quality of life stuff in December that they released, it was like 2 weeks release. Like I could see them doing something like that. Like, hey, these changes are coming this week, and then the week after that, this is coming. Probably like a staggered thing. I could see that happening for ranked and custom private matches. I think for 2018 for me, at the beginning of the year, those two things, maybe ranked later. Maybe I would think since they were already working on private matches, that coming first and then ranked after that, shortly after, maybe a long time after. But for sure, immediately armor, Masterwork stuff, and maybe adding different perk stuff to the Masterworks for weapons and an upgrade to the mod system. They've already talked about they want to make changes to the mod system. So more interesting options, I'd really like to see them completely get rid of legendary mods or rare mod, one or the other, just combine them, and because they're so frustrating right now the way that they work and how many of them you have.
Yeah,
And
'cause
then
Just hogs up
class
slots.
specific
Yeah.
ones. Just have it be a class item mod. Have it be leg mods. Don't have it be Titan leg armor mods. That stuff's really annoying.
it is.
But
or give us like 200 inventory space there. Like 50 is just not like
more vault space.
Yeah,
more vault space would be good. More
Yep.
shade.
Then you add
awesome.
you add the
Shader
exotic
space.
what are skins or what are they called inside the mod
Ornaments,
stuff.
yeah.
And the ship stuff also goes in there. All these other things go in there.
Yes.
Like I kind of want to keep a couple of these. Maybe I want to use them, but they're taking up slots.
Dude, this is going to sound ridiculous, but sometimes the little amount of vault and inventory space I have make me not want to play the game. I'm not even kidding you. Like I'm at my limit right now, and I keep deleting mod stuff, and that's fine. But I am saving so many weapons that I'm to the point where I'm maxed out on all my characters, and if I get like a little bit more, I'm gonna be hitting that limit, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to play more of the Dawning because I'm kind of running out of space, but I want to keep all these ships too,
Also, maybe ability to like just delete stacks of like shaders
people
that you
can
don't like, that you absolutely don't want to use. And it's like I'm never going to use
I would
this.
say I think
Because I have like 100 crappy ones, stacks. And I'm just like I have to go through every single one of these.
on the positive side, I think most of those things they mentioned specifically. I don't remember if they were in blog posts, but I know Chris Barrett had put out a lot of short tweets with little morsels of things they were working on. And I know, I think, what did they say, like a simplified and more interesting mod system was one. I think they said they had ideas for solutions to vault space, which is interesting because they didn't say we're going to increase vault space. It sounded like they had kiosks or something.
Yeah.
Well, what they said was they're working on a temporary solution and a permanent thing. And so what I think is they're going to reintroduce kiosks at first, and then maybe they have something else in mind for later, which I would really like to see. And if they do it, please let us do weapons in there, legendary weapons, because they're not random rolls anymore. We don't have to keep the Masterworks ones in there or anything. Just like if we have a weapon, please let it just go in the kiosk. And then that's a collector's kind of thing where you can see your kiosk, see what you don't have, and it makes you want to go get those stuff, know what you're looking, and look forward to getting it even.
I think kiosks would be fine as a long-term solution, really.
Yeah.
Like you said, especially since there's no random rolls, maybe the only thing that doesn't go into kiosks is Masterworks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I'd like to see done with the mod system is maybe introduce more impactful mods in form of like perk. You know what I mean? Like give them an extra perk. Like, yes, you have the base gun, but maybe there's something about your base or even like your Masterwork Better Devils that, just maybe you want this as fast of a reload as you could possibly get or as close to it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that would unbalance a lot of things, but I think it'd make things more interesting and fun and people to like jump in and test new weapons and things like that. I'd rather see them overachieve and overdo some of these sandbox changes than just kind of dip their toe in the water and dance around the idea. I'd much rather see them just fucking go for it and be like, hey, this isn't working. We're going to revert it back to the way it was until we can balance it or, whatever. Like, I thought that was like a lot of the whole reason for having fixed roles was for quicker updates and changes and things like that. But and like Light said in chat, add maybe not impact, but like I don't see any reason why there shouldn't have been masterwork range for hand cannons. Like I get it. Everyone's like, oh, we don't want hand cannons to be this powerhouse and outperforming outside of the range. And then I say, like auto rifles right now. Like Uriel's Gift and Positive Outlook that are basically, competing with scouts. Like
talk shit on my Positive Outlook.
I'm not. I'm just not going to down a peg or two.
Give
right?
a negative
so like last week on Javelin, I was running the card with Light, and there was no reason to have a scout rifle. Just have a Positive Outlook or Uriel's.
Scouts have always been in a really weird place in Destiny.
Yeah, but like Meta, you remember like it was always Meta multi-tool Uriel's Gift. Like Meta definitely scouts have a purpose. You really have to be outside of those ranges or whatever. But you could also argue that The reason why they're not shining as much is because maybe auto rifles are overperforming just a little bit more out of the normal ranges.
I mean, I'm not going into reasons, but I think other than Mida, especially the beginning of D2, I mean, if you were using a scout, you were purposely using a scout because you wanted to, not because it was better than any other option. They've always been in a really weird place. And with smaller maps now, it's even you know, more so. No, I agree with you though. As far as, you know, the mod system, I think it's really simple. Kind of like, you know, we talked about multiple episodes where, you know, maybe if you have so many of something, then you can get a mod slot, and it's, you know, you can put whatever perk on there, like you were saying, range or whatever. I do agree. You know, I don't think impact would work, because then you're kind of just changing. There'd be no reason to use anything else. Hey, I can get more damage on this gun. You know, that just kind of completely subverts any other.
Yeah.
That's kind of the you wouldn't want anything else. Like, why would you want anything else if you can just kick out more damage? You know what I mean? More damage means less damage fall off, you know, on certain guns, thus kind of giving you little booster range in a sense, you know, like that's a really good point. But like, as far as like sandbox changes, I want to see like strike specific loot. I want to see more what's the word I'm looking for? Not event, but like more activity specific loot. Going into a specific activity may net you, you know, the ghosts in the ship and things. I know they'd kind of touched on that. They had talked about adding ships and ghosts into the normal loot pool, but I want like more of it, man. I want, you know, like if I do one of the new Curse of Osiris strikes, you know what I mean? I could get a cool, you know, Vex looking ship or Vex looking ghost, or, you know, if I do the Fallen strike, I get like a Fallen looking ship, you know what I mean? Or just something, you know, it doesn't even have to be cosmetics. You can put weapons in there. Armor with different rolls on it. I like the look of some of my armor, but I don't like the stats that come with it, which is another argument, you know, maybe make resilience and mobility a little better too. Like, you know, but there's some armor that I love the look of it, but I gotta run recovery, man, because that's meta. That's where it's at, you know.
It's
like,
still weird for me to see that, you know, D2 has gone the route that it has with the armor and the stat stuff, because everybody wanted transmog stuff so bad to look the way they want to look in D1, and yet we went kind of the opposite route with armor.
Yeah,
you know?
I think fixed stat rolls were a mistake on armor.
Yes.
Maybe Masterworks can have something to do with that. Maybe they'll be more impactful in a sense that it's a masterwork where you can re-roll those perks. That would be pretty cool. I'd be down with
Masterworks,
that.
I mean, I don't know that it'll fix it in the sense that, like, you know, you can get whatever perks you want on a certain looking piece of armor, but I definitely think it's, you know, from what we know of Masterworks in the first place, it'll be some sort of step in that direction.
Well, it could be completely different working with armor. You know what I mean? You're not going to give it more recovery or whatever because it's a masterwork. If you could do that, you might as well just be like, hey, you could re-roll this to have resilience or mobility. It's just a chance for it.
Right. Know? I'm just saying, like, we don't know how they're going to do it, but it's definitely going to be in that vein. You know what I mean? Because what we know of how masterworks work for weapons, it's going to be something similar. That it should help to a point with hey, I really like this armor, but it's all mobility. Fuck you.
Right.
You know?
Well, you guys really came in well with a lot of like the actual changes, you know, to the game and like very specific, whether it be straight specific loot or PvP things. So I'll go kind of a different angle here. And for me, my expectation would be for 2018 is to continue that transparency that you're trying to have in communications towards us. And I think, and hopefully I would expect them to move to a position where they understand that ambiguity and excitement aren't necessarily the same thing. And you have to come forth a little bit stronger with exactly what you're going to do. And also understand that we're not going to get overwhelmed by winning on the margins. And, you know, Wilson's mentioned this a few times. You got to go all in. You got to give us a little bit more. And Hove mentioned a little bit earlier about, like, you know, this is enough for what I'm doing now because there's other games as well. And, you know, I know they've always advocated play other games and do those things, but they also run the risk at some point of, like, that becomes the only game you end up playing is not their game when there is really strong competition. And, you know, Destiny Killer was supposed to be the division, and that didn't really happen. But we know things like Anthem. I think Xbox is trying to launch Steve. So there's other games that are trying to compete in this space, and they could run that risk as well. So my expectation would be for them to have big wins in some of their changes, not some of the small things that, like, maybe we don't care about, but like when they do, to go all in more on some of these initiatives and also continue to keep us informed more specifically as to what they're doing. That would be partially hope, but I do expect them to continue that because I think that not just themselves, but other game companies are kind of paying for when they don't do that.
Well, on the topic of whatever. What the fuck did you say?
Ambiguity.
Yeah, that one. And excitement. And I know I kind of want to pose this question to all you guys. Triton, you kind of it was your point. You answered it. But for all the times we've heard, oh, we want to be more open. We want to do things faster. We want to tell you about more stuff. It really seemed like this last time when they put out that canceled a stream, put out that emergency post, and we talked about it. It seemed like it was kind of like an oh shit moment. Like, listen, we really need to start being more forthcoming with information. Do you think that that's going to continue to carry over, or do you think they'll they're definitely going to give us stuff right away, but do you think it's going to slowly slide back to, oh, well, we're listening and we're thinking about this, and then you don't hear anything for months? Or do you think they've finally gotten to that point where they're like, well, if we don't continue to put out this information, even if it's not set in stone, we're fucked? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think this is going to continue?
I hope it's
We all
got
hope
to that
it,
point.
But
Because
do you think it will?
the player base, there are a lot of people talking shit on it still. A lot of people still not impressed with anything. I really hope Bungie just got to the point where it's just like, we gotta step our game up. But my honest opinion, I think they're going to come out with their next, whatever it is, the next wave of whatever, and just slowly sink back down into just silence, and maybe not months of nothing, but just long periods of time where we just get nothing. And I really think that's where we're going, because it seems like a current theme that they go into, They start something up and then we get nothing for a while, and then they start something up and then they go, I don't know, in D1, it's kind of what happens. Hopefully they don't continue this, but I honestly think that's what's going to happen.
So for me, I feel like D1, the very end of D1 was well, not PvP wise, I guess, completely, but there was a lot of stuff in the Age of Triumph that nailed a bunch of stuff people were asking for. And I feel like I keep seeing more and more with D2, them just answering immediately a lot of the problems that we have. Wilson's cat is super striking right now.
Oh.
But I feel like I have a little more positive outlook on it. I think just Deej just the other day retweeted the thing that Christopher Barrett put out about hey, we're taking this stuff seriously. We know that our actions are going to speak louder than our words on the issues of transparency and letting y'all know what's going on, and responding to the community feedback. And Deej just as soon as everybody comes back in the office this week, we're having a meeting about this. And it's they're reminding themselves, hey, this is the state of the community. There's not that they don't already know through Reddit and everything, but they're even reminding themselves of what they've already said, which is what the Bungie community does to them, And so I feel they're very well aware of where we all are and of their player base and size and what we want as a community and all that stuff. So I'm pretty positive going into 2018 as far as changes they'll make, and everything that I've seen so far and everything they said they're going to do, adding ranked in, when I feel D1, I don't know. I feel they're just growing in what they want to do for us and make happen whatever it takes to make those things happen. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I mean, I don't know. My thing, I agree, especially right now, because they have put solid, tangible things that they said they're going to discuss and fix. Those they have to. You have come flat out and told us. But I guess my thing is more, I don't know if I see a total shift in their dynamic and the way they go about things, or if this is just kind of a, like I said, an oh shit, we need to do all this stuff. We need to cover all this. And then once they fix all these things that they listed, however long that may be, I don't know if I see it staying with this open communication. Hey, as soon as we see this, we saw it was wrong. This is what we're thinking of doing. Because that was something they've never done. They would never give us any information until it was set in stone. Until recently, when, like I said, it was an oh shit, let's cancel this stream and talk about it. I just don't know, and maybe it's because we've been burned so many times on it. I don't know that I see a total shift in the way they're going to do things in the long-term future. Near term, yes. Short term, I definitely think they have to, because they promised us tangible changes.
I hear you. I'm hopeful, man. I mean, what I'm sure I want them to do and what they're actually going to do are probably two different things, but I understand like the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or whatever with your player base. So hopefully whatever they do, man, like I'm hopeful. They've already got my money for the next DLC, so they've definitely got me that far. Like I bought the expansion pass. So I'm hopeful. I'm going to have fun with it, dude. Like really what it boils down to, man, is like I can have a night where I play both raids, do all my milestones, and don't get anything that I want, and still walk away after having a good time because I had fun with my friends, and it's an awesome environment, and funny shit happens at your friend's expense, and everyone laughs at them, and you create awesome memories and stuff. Like I feel like I'm being kind of hard on the game this evening about like all the things that I want. Like I'm genuinely having a good time. I still realize that there are glaring flaws that need to be fixed or whatever, but it's not going to stop me from having a good time. Me participating in all this and giving my feedback, if anything, is helping the game. Still playing I'm not gonna be one of those people that don't play the game and just bitch about it constantly.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand that.
That I don't get, man. Like if you're done with the game, dude, cool. Like respect. Like if we meet in another game, that would be fantastic. I get that this game's not for you, but like don't be one of those like pity party people who like want people to be like, oh, it's okay, you should come back and play. Like don't be upset that other people are having a good time potentially without you.
And like some of the people that continue on Twitter, like commenting on current goings on in the game and like making memes and pictures and all these things. And you're like, dude, if you hate it so much and you don't play anymore, why do you know all these things? And why do you still take time and energy to
because they
do
secretly want to love the game, and it's okay if they don't. They just need to be open and honest with themselves and be like, I'm not enjoying it right now. You know how many games that I've picked up and were a complete flop at the beginning? Diablo 3 was awful at the beginning, 0 end game. It was just absolutely trash, and that game has made leaps and bounds. I still jump back to it for the seasons and things, and it sometimes things take some time to develop. Like I'm not in game development, but I can tell you the way that even in my business with glass blowing, I mean, going up the chain, like, people placing orders and going through multiple people and asking them what they want, like shit gets fucked up. It happens. Like people say wrong stuff or give you the wrong information. Or sometimes they're just like, I don't know. It could be done tomorrow. It could be done a week from now. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going to happen when I hit enter after putting all this code in. You know what I mean? We haven't tested it yet, So I think it's really easy from the gamer standpoint to say, gimme, gimme, gimme. And you know what I mean, and have no idea of what's going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On the other side.
Sort of. I don't want to say off topic, but you made me think of something. There is one thing, and again, none of us have any, experience in game design, coding, testing, anything. But if there is one thing that I feel like somehow Bungie is lacking, it's play testing. There have been so many things, even if they're really, really small. There's so many things that come out, and you're just like, did nobody try that weapon? Or did nobody run through this? Like, just weird things. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but it just...
the Nova thing I could see getting past, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, not everyone's going to know to hit those. Yeah, that's like a killer instinct combo that you got to do to activate that thing. But, like, something like Prometheus...
underestimate the player base finding, like, locating those problems.
Yeah,
Maybe they find it in their team, and they're just like you just said, like, who would ever... like find this? No, let's not waste resources on that. Let's focus on something different. And then, of course,
I wish I could think of some of the things, because there's been a couple times where things happen, and I'm like, really? Like,
well, like Prometheus, I mean, like whenever that happened, it was. I feel like sometimes it could just be like they have that done, and then somebody else comes and puts their part of the code in at the last second, or a few days before, or whatever, and they tested it, and they like in my like the way I see it happening is like maybe they knew it was broken, and they just had a choice like, well, either we delay this gun coming out or we just let it go and we fix it next week or whatever, like I could see them making tough choices like that.
Right.
I don't know.
How would you guys like to see like playtest patches come out? Maybe there's like a Crucible playlist where it's like, these are some of the changes that we're thinking about or that we're
kind of like the
roll out.
PUBG test server or something like that. Just like this. Yeah. No, I would honestly, I think that'd be great.
Didn't they
beta test everything?
Did they not talk about that on the Bungie podcast that they came out with last time? Maybe I heard it maybe it was somebody else who was talking about, maybe it was on that podcast, I can't remember, but it seems like, they have this world that how complicated Destiny is with all these players connected. If they try to like duplicate that and have it, I can't imagine the upkeep like that would be to have that world going versus like a PUBG world test server. I'd imagine it would be
it's
so
a much
crazy.
Much larger and more complicated game.
Yeah.
Than a lot
To
of
answer
games
Wilson's
like that.
question though, I'd love it. I just don't think it's possible.
You know what could be possible on PC?
But why?
Because it's Master Race, bro.
Oh my gosh!
I would
love
seriously because things like Blizzard, they're a platform, could allow for stuff like that. PlayStation doesn't have anything. Consoles don't have anything like that set up.
Well, I think kind of what I think Lego, what you were saying, same thing is like it's Overwatch, for instance. It's just here's these characters, these maps. Like it's a very simple PvP. How do they balance against each other? PUBG is the same thing. There's these weapons. All the players are the same. It's just such a smaller scale world with less weapons. You think you have weapons, perks on weapons, armor, perks on armor, abilities. How do the abilities go to get, there's just so much more that I don't know.
And the host one, none of us really understand that, but I think we kind of brought it up in this conversation and maybe kind of putting a cap on it is more that like the consumer is saying, and Wilson said like, gimme. I mean, not everyone goes through the logic of like what that all entails. So we know that maybe a test server exists in PUBG. So without thinking why it's different in any way, you just say, oh, it should be in Destiny. And on top of that, now you have a platform and you have this empowerment and a voice to continuously bitch and moan. And you also can connect with a ton of other people who will just bitch and moan about it. I mean, that's just the same way that like when you look at some of my favorite reviews sometimes, like somewhat off topic to review, are all the ones, right? Because there's so many people who are willing to go on and trash something. And if a bunch of people don't even that out with fives, all the people who are just content, because we're obviously passionate, we have a podcast for goodness sakes, but for the million people that are content about Destiny, they probably don't say anything about it, right? So the loudest voices are the people that are complaining, and unfortunately and fortunately today there's a platform and an empowerment for them to continue to do so, and that probably ends up costing a handful of testers jobs and it ends up being counterintuitive.
Yeah. Well, since Triton kind of put a cap on that conversation, I'd like to see what people are saying. Not about video games, but also commenting on our social medias. Hove, I know we have some community questions this week. Maybe we could get to those real quick.
We do have a couple, and also while we're on the topic, Lego, I know you don't read chat, but
that Mama Patty raid.
There's a Mama Patty raid going on right now, which is AKA DCP sending over some lovely folks. I see Briar and Pope and everyone, so
oh my gosh.
I had to turn my bot off because otherwise my bot starts banning everybody. Because it goes
slaying some
it's
people.
you like my bot can't handle more than like 30 people. It gets really confused.
I just got a warning being a mod saying if the raid is too offensive to do stuff, and I'm just like, what?
The midnight coup shaming has already began. Like Briar's already calling out.
This is actually really good timing because one of the questions we got on Twitter is from Jayden. He said, "Is it too soon to start the midnight coup shaming?" And I'm guessing the answer is no. So I don't have one. You guys shame me about pretty much anything and everything. So.
I won't shame you until I get one, and you don't have one.
You don't have
one?
one?
That's how it works. No, I don't have one.
That's because you're lame. Get good. I have 3
That's
of them.
why I'm crying about it, bro.
I have one on every character.
No, you do not. I don't believe Hove for a second.
I got one on Xbox, and I don't even have an Xbox.
I got 10.
Manna, you don't even play Destiny.
Wow, way to call me out on it, man.
The one gun that I feel like I'm still in love with, though, that I keep running back to over and over again is that new Trials pulse rifle. Not new-ish, we've had it for a few weeks now. But I didn't like any pulse rifle in the game. Even the one that was the same archetype from Iron Banner, I didn't really like it either. But now that I have the Trials one, it's amazing. I love it.
I like that and the Autumn Wind, which is my other Masterworks. But speaking of guns I run back to, do you know what gun I do run back to?
I don't.
Come on, I know you know.
The Positive Outlook.
My Positive Outlook Masterworks with range.
Give you a negative outlook.
I'm going to give you a negative outlook.
Probably the meanest thing Lego said.
I know, right?
67 episodes.
Even had the word negative in it. So toxic.
So it's negative. It's bad.
So toxic.
All right, here's an interesting question since we're moving to community stuff. Big Tater Tot, who I know he's here in chat somewhere. With more and more battle royale games coming out, what current game or future announced game would you like to see have that mode, if any? Wilson, we're gonna make you go first since you're our guest and you're on multiple podcasts. You're the professional here.
DayZ. Boom. I want zombies. I want battle royale. I want a true fight for your life experience where it's not just other players. I want a PvE threat in there as well.
Like PUBG plus zombies type deal, pretty much.
Nah. PUBG's been done before. I want DayZ battle royale.
Oh, straight up.
What about like Dead Space battle royale? Would that?
That'd be cool.
That would be sick.
I think it'd be cool to have more like. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have more like PvE threats in some battle royale games. So like, you guys are camping on this hill, but a horde of PvE threats come your way and force you to use your weapons and give away your position. I don't know. It could be cool.
I actually tweeted earlier today about a Halo battle royale,
Yes,
like
did.
classic Halo 2, Halo 3, one of those two battle royales. Nothing more than that. It has to be one of those, or just straight up ODST. Like you're just a simple soldier. You're not a super soldier. Like you get dropped down. Like you have limited movement. Once you choose where to drop, you can only move left to right a little bit, like into ODST pods. And you come out. Everyone, I kind of want a mode to where you come out with at least something to defend yourself. Because today I've had like 3 times playing offline in Fortnite where I run into a house, nothing in the house. And I run out. It's like, guys, I can't help. Like everything else is looted already. There's just chaos ensues. But you come out with like an SMG, maybe 1 or 2 mags, and that's it. You have to loot just like the normal Halo weapons. There's not a lot of power weapons. There's not a lot of weapons in general in Halo. And then you just find it. Probably have to do something about sniping, kind of like Fortnite. I feel like, or PUBG bullet travel time. I feel, but other than that, just straight up Halo deathmatch.
I'd like to see them take like a Dragon Ball Z game and do something like that, because they're always like just these 2D fighter games, and I'm just always thinking, I guess from like a kid fantasy, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if like they were more like I guess like a battle royale or like a third person, you can go anywhere as opposed to just limited to like the 2v fighting. So having not really played any of those games, I'm not sure if like systemically that would work at all, but I think just like that perspective or that attempt would at least be cool to try. I'd probably give it a try if it was something like that. Maybe
wouldn't like the last 2 people alive though just be like screaming at each other with like flashy backgrounds?
Oh yeah, and it would take like 5 minutes for them to power up before they fight. You might both die before you're done.
And it would take like the length of 2 games to finish
with like some crazy monologue over the top. Someone would get to come back in and talk about the next game they'll finally fight. That would be great.
It would be interesting if they could somehow get that together. Because, I mean, everyone that powerful in Dragon Ball can fly.
Yeah.
Maybe make it like you can travel to different worlds. Maybe there's like multiple worlds you can travel to, like to and from, to just make it bigger. I don't know. That would be cool, though.
Echo the Dolphin Battle Royale. I can't even say
it. What?
That game was hard as shit back in the day. I remember that.
I'm pretty sure
some of those Sega games are impossible.
I didn't necessarily do this on purpose, but I'm pretty sure every time Wilson's been on the podcast, we've talked about Echo the Dolphin. Because I'm pretty sure every time I mention it with some stupid reason, Wilson just backs me up by telling me how fucking hard it was.
It really was.
I think you're right, actually. I'm like, I've ever told you guys that game's hard as shit.
There's like a couple of them. Every time you got into that zone where you have to like, how it's like left to right, and then all of a sudden you go forward into like whatever it was, like the current or whatever. You're like, I'm finally getting somewhere.
I don't think I've ever beat one of them.
I don't think I've ever beat one either.
Who has? I mean,
spoiler alert,
anyone
didn't suck anymore.
World? Like
Wilson beat both of them. He's a dolphin master.
Oh yeah, there was one.
The Dolphin Whisperer.
All right. I mean,
sorry, I'm looking at chat
Dolphin
now.
Whisper.
Easy answer here.
I can see him riding on waves, like just riding on dolphins. Like,
it'd be dope. I'm with it.
Pretty much Aquaman is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Next question from Bleached. Have you asked Alexa to tell you a scary story yet? If not, you should try it. It's not really a question.
Have you
I
ever
have Google Home, not Alexa?
So do I.
If you ask her to rap too, apparently it's pretty funny.
That's cool.
I heard that.
What if I ask you to rap?
It's not very funny at all. It'd be very funny, but not for me.
I was gonna say those exact words. We'll think it's really funny. I don't know if you will.
Crash Bandicoot Battle Royale. Oh my god.
This one's from Matt Grundy. It's specifically for Triton, even though it doesn't say it is. And if you're not a listener of this podcast, you're not going to understand it. But given the most recent capricious fluctuations to the
Oh no!
solipsis, I don't even know what the hell this says.
It derives from solipsism.
Solipsistic
Wow.
Bitcoin.
Is this from
and
Triton?
numerous other likewise ventures. What is your favorite shader to use on a weapon?
Okay, so I've met Matt in real life. So Matt's an awesome guy. Love that he keeps supporting the show. Really appreciate it. Matt was one of the guys that took me through my first raid and a couple other things in Destiny 2.
Nice.
Very cool.
But if this is about cryptocurrency, the fluctuations are mostly due to cybercrime that's now like sweeping into that specific space.
Shaders.
Particularly for Monero.
Yeah, the question was about
and-
Shaders.
Okay. All right. And Ethereum. Both of those things are really bad.
That's all fine and dandy, but what's your favorite shader?
So I don't know. I still go with the New Monarchy Diamonds is still my still my go-to, like a classic, and the Iron Wolf. I think the Iron Wolf's the one that has like the silver to it. Those two are still my favorite. Haven't really experimented a lot with the ones since the DLC, but those two are classic for me. I have them on most things.
Callus is selected all day.
No, man.
Is that the new raid layer one?
Not the new raid layer one. If I
Okay.
botched that, the original, the purple and gold and white one, or like the gold, white, and purple one. It's so flossy. It looks so good. I put it on everything. My ships, my ghosts, armor, guns, my Cadillac.
I gotta go with.
I don't have one
This is the
Cadillac.
first time ever, but Lego or Triton's right. The new
Excuse me?
Monarchy ones are the best. Both
Hold
of them,
on.
all of them,
Hold the
however many
line.
there are.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm very surprised.
Surprised that
REZOcast
I agree
first.
with him, or surprised that he's right.
All of the
Yes.
above. All the
of
above.
Is it bad that I'm actually launching my Destiny item manager to
Yes.
remember shader names?
Yes,
Right
yes,
now,
it is bad.
I'm currently going through
Wow.
my shaders to try to figure out what's the one I used to use on
The
everything.
blue and silver one.
No, it's the pink and purple one. I think it's
Oh.
Nebula Rose.
Yeah.
Either
that's
Nebula
that
Rose or
one.
Dawn and Dusk. Those are the
Yeah,
two.
I can't remember which one, but I used to pimp out everything in those.
I got some new ones that I'm really digging. There's Dawning Hope from the Dawning, which you can get from those daily packages that are pretty easy to do. It's like a black and gold. It reminds me of, remember the Age of Triumph one you got that was all like, or maybe it was during the Dawning you got that, and it was like kind of tiger striped ish, but black and white and gold.
Totally.
But yeah, so it looks a lot like that from D1, and I really like that. But also on top of that, one that's really surprised me actually, it's an Osiris one, I think. It's not even, yeah, here it is. Desert of Gold, maybe? No, here it is. Okay. It's Metallic Sunrise.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's a really good one.
it's so freaking, and it surprised me too, because I'm not a big red shader kind of guy. But the red in it like pops so much against the bronze, and the bronze is like that. Hove, remember when we first started playing Destiny 2, you found that copper shader and put it on a fusion rifle, and you were like, dude, look at this. This is like the coolest one.
That's not what I
Well,
sound like.
That's exactly what you sound like.
Yeah, that's pretty
And-
accurate, actually. Dude, bro.
And,
Check out the shader.
and so
No, what I
it
said
has-
was what I said was, hey.
It has that kind of bronze textury look to it, though, this Metallic Sunrise. And so it's an Osiris shader. It looks awesome. It's one of my new favorite ones. So that one and Dawning Hope are two of my favorites. I do still like the New Monarchy one, but I think the original Callus Raid shader, the first one you got, is one of my favorites as well. Those are like in my top 3. And I like the original Callus one, not because of the purple, but a lot of stuff you put it on is just white and gold. And I really dig that look. Looks
I
very
want to see
cool.
more shaders do textures like that copper
The
one.
texture, yeah.
Textures are
Dude,
cool.
Because the
That's one of
copper
the
one.
things
Because hey, dude, man, that copper one's like really cool, man. The textures-
Exactly.
Fuck you.
No,
guys.
that what I sound
the new Monarchy one, the diamonds, sometimes when you put it on armor or whatever has the red area, it has this kind of plaid looking red texture to it that looks really cool. And so I'm hoping to see with the new faction rallies, new shaders that come out, maybe hopefully giving some more textures, or new Iron Banner shader giving some more textures. I think that'd be cool, because we're seeing it with the Osiris stuff, with that Metallic Sunrise for sure, and with the Dawning Hope kind of has that like black and white camo stuff, not the bad Dead Orbit camo, not that kind of look. You know, it looks better than that. But
I want a green scaly textured like
You
shaders.
would.
What? I'm just saying it. I think it'd go great.
The living embodiment of the Manigator, so you can truly
Seriously.
embrace the Manigator.
And I need like a hood from a hunter that kind of goes down.
Listen, the
really
only time
weird,
man has
like
seen
a snout.
the only time man has ever seen a real alligator, he ate it. It was deep fried.
That's pretty badass, actually.
You guys
It was
peer
pretty
pressured me.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we talked about the place, and I was like, "That sounds neat." You were like, "Ooh, that does sound good."
Black and Gator.
And then
yeah.
no, everyone around the table was pretty much like, "You have to now." I'm just like, I am.
Yeah.
Going back a little bit, I was just scrolling through some things for the Battle Royale game. Expanding on the idea a little bit, I think what would be a really cool one, and it would take, as far as the Battle Royale, it's just the fact that there's 50 or 100 players and it's last person standing. Everything else would be different. But what about like a Star Wars or Star Fox one, but it's like ships, like X-Wings,
Oh, that'd be
50
cool.
X-Wings. It would have to be some big area, and maybe you have to find different. Like, I don't know how it would work. I'm not that smart, but just the fact that like you're flying around and shooting 50 other people in spaceships. I mean, come on.
Which Battlefront has that like 30-ish spaceships
I don't know.
Not elimination though,
for Battlefront?
right?
Well, no, not elimination. There's like some points where like you have to survive for so long, and like your team collectively only gets so many lives, but
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
like a solo.
Okay. Well, hey,
You have a life pool.
I want to throw out one more thing about shaders. Just enough 215 mentioned in chat aren't all the best shaders in Eververse, and I know that is a thing right now that a lot of like good shaders are in Eververse. But I just wanted to point out the ones that I talked about. I'd mentioned earlier in the podcast, the dawning gifts thing that you can do daily. That like you get at least 2 shaders from doing those, and once you complete all of them, you get like a free 2 shaders on every character per day, which is a lot. And that's where you get the Dawning Hope shader, which I really like. And so that's something you earn in game, not just through Eververse. And I feel like since the DLC, they've implemented, like, I still don't like Eververse, a lot of things about it. We were talking about ghosts and ships and all that earlier. But I did want to point out with the shaders that the Metallic Sunrise one that I really like, I've gotten a lot of those by doing the heroic adventures that they have. And they're really tough. Like, the heroic adventures, like, I want to go in with a team every time because it's tough getting those done, but you get shaders from the chests at the end, which is pretty awesome. You get Osiris shaders. So that is a good tip. If you're looking for good shaders, there's some there.
And back to my tip, if you're trying to mine for Monero or Ethereum, you have to have strong malware protection. That's
This
is a general tip.
Did you say you have to wear protection?
You should if
Say
you're trying to
mail
mine
protection?
for those. I mean, you could still use your PC to mine for those things, which is what the appeal is, as opposed to Bitcoin, where there's just no way you could use your PC.
Oh, that's what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Well, that
When
was
Triton
the base.
started
Get me rich, Triton. You know a lot about Bitcoin, dude. Hook me up.
I mean,
have
like,
a
there's
Bitcoin.
the people that know a lot about Bitcoin sometimes don't know a lot about investment. And I think that's why there's a lot more fluctuation. Is that people sometimes understand one but not the other.
So you start understanding both, and I'll invest into you, and you can make me money.
Well, since everybody knows about them, it's somewhat of a poor investment. But Monero and Ethereum still have potential, but that's where malware is happening all over the place because you could still actually mine for that. You could ask Target; they just got hacked for that, and a couple places that like are repositories for those things in like South Korea have already filed for bankruptcy because of all the cybercrime, which explains a lot more of the fluctuations.
Dude, I want to talk more about this after the podcast. That sounds super interesting.
No.
That sounds amazing.
Don't encourage him.
Just saying.
It's like he says
Well,
he explains everything so elegantly and like
I
quickly,
know.
and I can't actually grasp it.
I like
Well, I mean, it's
just investing in Triton. That's my
I just told
favorite.
Hove
Yeah,
that simply.
there
We
we
actually, so Hove actually will tolerate this when we go one-on-one. We eat together, so we'll go out. I think the 2 podcasts ago we did go out to Eden Park, and I explained it to him. And it's just very simple. Like back in the day,
He
it'd be
explained
very
it to the air around me.
okay.
None of it
no,
actually-
I mean, you
Well,
understood it.
Before we go off on this rabbit hole, do we have any other community questions? Anyone from chat?
No, that's about it, I think. Oh, no, we did have one. Hold on. He quoted it, though, so I have to find it now.
Oh boy.
I think it was
Making me
Booker.
work for
Booker,
it.
if you're listening to this, don't quote the tweet because then I can't find it. You have to reply to it. Okay, I found it. This one's for Wilson. Why do you insist on wearing a flat billed hat and sunglasses?
The sunglasses keep the sun out of my eyes, and the flat brim hat also keeps the sun out of my eyes when I forget my sunglasses.
So why do you need both?
in case I forget one or the other.
But
It's
when
like
you
double
have them both,
protection,
why do you have to
right?
wear them both?
I'm doubling down.
Is it that sunny in the
I
Midwest?
even put my visor. I'll put my
Is it
hat
that
on,
sunny in the
sunglasses,
Midwest?
and dip my visor down. I'll triple dip.
Maybe he's a sensitive dude. Okay, he just doesn't want that sun. Maybe he's a vampire.
I also have to wear like really super dark shades when I'm at work, so I'm staring into basically like a tiny little sun when I'm melting glass. You know what I
That
mean?
I
makes
stare at the
storage.
sun all the time.
Explains a
That's-
lot.
Yeah, that's why you can't hit shit in game.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. I'm sorry.
He said you ain't got no nipples.
I'm muted, aren't I?
1v1 me, Destiny 1. Let's go.
You won.
No,
It's
no
funny,
land,
what?
no
Let's
land
go back in.
fusions.
Metador.
Let's go back in and do our No Land Fusion games. Those are so much
Oh,
fun.
I do miss that. We can. Well, I'm sure we're getting private custom matches soon, as we talked about earlier in the.
Are we going to be able to No Land Fusion? I doubt
I
it.
don't know. I don't think so.
Do you think No Land's ever going to come back?
If it does, it'll be a power weapon.
At this rate,
That swag NLB from what's his face in the EDZ. Okay.
Yeah, Devrim, you
yeah.
clearly aren't using it.
Here's my
Give it
thing,
up.
though. I do think that eventually they're all going to come back. That seems to be the path we're going down, right?
Uh-huh.
The exotics. But, you know, Wilson, you said it'll be a power. I don't think there'd be any reason to use it as a power weapon. Sniper's already bad, and it's a bad sniper.
Yeah, I mean, like that's snipers being bad is arguably a completely different argument.
maybe it'll be a
Its
good
own.
sniper.
I
Maybe
just
it'll
want
be
to.
really awesome.
Tater answered the question for Wilson in chat. Why does he wear the hat and sunglasses? And Tater says, because he is fucking high. Duh.
That's really what I was trying to get at, but like I didn't really just want to put it out there. But I'm cool with it. That works. That's acceptable.
Oh.
Yeah,
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of REZOcast. This has been Lego, aka Legole Flash. You can find me at Lego LE Flash on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Hove, where can they find you?
The same places: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You're here on Twitch. Everything's HOV76. Twitter a lot. Come to Twitter. Come talk to me on Twitter. I like talking on Twitter. Generally, it's just me scouring my timeline and then commenting on people's stupid comments that I hate. So if you come have a nice conversation with me, I will love you forever.
Come to Twitter.
Come,
come to Twitter.
Don't be a
come,
bitch.
come.
Definitely
you
interact
up.
with Hove on Twitter.
I'm sorry, Triton. What did you say? I'm gonna mute you. Thanks. Bye.
Well, you can find me in all the same places, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just recently actually got to YouTube. I know we were all kind of racing to see which one of us could finally get a video on there. So did just get a video on YouTube. Trying to return to Twitch, and definitely can always find me on Twitter. All under Triton Please. One word, the please being PLZ. How about you, Mana?
You can find me mainly on Twitch, Twitter at the Manigator, always on Twitch. I do that a lot. And I am planning on returning to YouTube. It's just I've been playing a lot of different things and I haven't had any highlights to put up on YouTube.
And if you could find a way to eat pizza and do YouTube, that'd be it. Because you're the
I mean,
social eating
Baconators,
extraordinaire.
dude. Baconators.
Maybe
So
my
Son of
first-
Baconator.
Maybe my first YouTube video will just be me simply eating and not paying attention to the camera, just like, and then like 20 minutes later be like, oh, and just shut it off real quick.
Also, wait, super important thing that we didn't talk about. Did
Oh.
anybody see that Taco Bell's coming out with French fries?
Yeah, so they're launching it as part of their dollar menu here.
They're gonna have a
And
dollar menu with
French
20 so new items.
Oh
Keep a
my
lookout, Taco Bell.
gosh. Well,
McDonald's
we're never
counter
gonna
with
see
tiered
Mana
pricing, by
again.
the way.
Wilson, where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Ryu Wilson. That's RYU Wilson. And you can find me Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern on Briar Rabbit's channel doing Revolver Live with all the
That's
boys
right.
over there.
Make sure
Another
you listen to that.
podcast. Can we clear the air?
Bags
real
of
quick
dicks.
about something?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just say, thank you guys, the whole bag of dicks thing and it rolling forward and us getting sponsored by
my
Bag of Dicks. I feel like we should thank you guys since you kind of, brought forth the whole bag of dicks question to begin with. So, I'm just trying to give credit where credit's due.
Well, really, we need to give credit to
No,
Rally.
we will not
Rally.
give credit to Rally.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
credit to
I mean,
Rally.
Rally's the one who brought forth this question. So, Rezo, Rally Bubba.
Yeah.
Thank you very
but
much.
no, I do
This
think
was before my time. So,
Well,
I'm a
man,
newbie
you remember
still.
you remember the bag of dicks question, right?
yeah, no, I do. But that was like literally before I joined. So,
Well,
Just
it,
barely.
it has turned into good times. And,
good times.
And you were welcome. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anything for
Use
you.
code Revolver Live to save 20% on your bag of dicks at bagofdicks.com.
Talking about bag of dicks, hold on, real quick. I think it was the Magicians. They literally said someone had a bag of dicks that was actually fully functioning and working. I think it was
not
that.
the kind of dicks we're talking about.
But I'm just saying, it was just it was mentioned in the show. I think it's the Magician. I might be on a weird website again. I'm not sure, but it was a quote.
You should have been there, man. And when this first started, one of the very first people we asked about the bag of dicks was TV. And we had him and Goa on, and Goa laughed. Was all about it. TV kind of looked at us like, "What's wrong with you people?"
This isn't what I signed up for.
Also, we in the next week or two, stay tuned to our Twitter and to here because we may have an announcement in the near future. Some exciting, fun stuff coming. So.
Yeah, we're getting ready.
We're all pregnant.
We're all pregnant. Wilson, actually, that's why we brought him on this week. Wilson impregnated each of us.
Wow.
At once, not even at a time. Like
it was like the tether. It was like a tether.
Wait, so the way a tether works, if 3 people are tethered and one is impregnated.
Well, the way a tether works, Lego, is when one guardian loves another guardian. Sometimes they like to express that in a crucible.
Wow. On that note, this has been REZOcast episode 67.
Wait, did Triton and everyone do their thing?
Yes, everyone did their thing. But you can also find more about Team Resolute at teamresolute.com or at Team Resolute on Twitter. And you can find more about REZOcast at REZOcast on Twitter. And we love to talk to you there. And we love it if you leave us a review on iTunes. Thank you so much for joining us this week. I think that's it. Until next time, guys. GG.
GG.
GG. We're all pregnant.
GG's.
Riri.